Here is a simple pullback strategy using volume profile and anchored VWAP. Volume profile helps us find areas where big volumes are traded, and anchored VWAP then shows us the fair price from those areas. Together, they point us to great places to trade pullbacks from. So let's get to the chart and see how it works. Volume profile shows where the big volumes were traded on the chart. That means that it sort of reveals where the big trading institutions were active, because big trading institutions trade with heavy volumes, right? So if you look at this chart, then there's this rotation, and in this rotation, heavy volumes were traded, right? You identify that place with volume profile. That's the first step you want to see, heavy volumes traded within a rotation like this. Second thing is, this needs to be followed by a trend activity, a strong trend activity like this one. And this is an important place you want to anchor the VWAP to. It is important because big guys, the big trading institutions, were accumulating their trading positions here, right? And it is also the start of the trend. So that's why this is important, and many traders are placing their trading decisions around this, especially around the place where the volumes were the heaviest and around the place where the sell-off started or where the trend started. So that means you want to anchor the VWAP to that candle, to the last candle of the rotation, which is the first candle of the sell-off usually, right? So it's this huge red candle in this example. That's where you anchor the VWAP, and you trade pullbacks to that, because VWAP represents a fair price since this important place, right? So that means short from here, then as there's this rotation, you don't really want to do anything, because when the market is rotating, VWAP setups don't really work. And then this resistance, the resistance which is represented by the VWAP, turns into a support, right? Because the price is moving above it. So that's why you want to wait for the pullbacks to that support and enter longs from there, right? Again, the logic is the same. Buyers want to buy for a fair price. Now here's another example. Again, this is a short trade scenario because we have this strong downtrend commencing in this heavy volume zone. In this case, you anchor the VWAP to this candle. This is the start of the sell-off, also the last candle of the rotation. By the way, if you anchored the VWAP, for example, to this candle instead of this candle, the VWAP wouldn't really change too much. So don't worry, you won't mess this setup up if you choose a different candle, for example, this one instead of this one. So anyways, you anchor the VWAP there to this candle, and then you trade pullbacks. You simply need to see the price go away from the VWAP and then enter the pullback here. That's short from this place, short from this place, and short from this place, right? Sellers want to sell for a fair price. Now here is one last example of this. Check out this little rotation where those massive volumes were traded. And as you can see, it is followed by this strong sell-off. So this is telling us that sellers were active here in this rotation, building up their short positions, and then they pushed the price downwards. It is a very important place, and the big traders, they want to base their trading decisions around this. So since this place, the VWAP represents the fair price, and sellers want to sell at the fair price. That means that sellers are selling here, and so should you. So when the price hits the VWAP, you initiate a short trade, right? In here, the price wasn't moving too much because this was the Asian session. That's basically the start of the day. Liquidity is low, volatility is low, so that's why the price wasn't moving too much. That's why the reaction wasn't too swift. But, I don't really have problems holding trades, even, for a couple of hours like this. I learned to be patient, I wait, and that's what has been working for me. Anyways, there's a second test right here. And that means another short from this place. Alright guys, so that's for that. I hope you liked the video. If you want to learn more about VWAP or volume profile trading, then head over to my website. This is it is at traderdale.com, and if you click this button which says trading course and tools, then it will bring you to this page where you can browse my trading education packs and also custom made indicators. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Until then, happy trading.